when you actually grow, like when you actually feel growth from the experience, you've learned the lesson. And because you've learned a lesson, something shifts in you, something changes in you. So you actually experience some level of growth in who you are, like as a human.
Welcome back to the Illuminated Path. This is episode 63. What are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about something called the learning circle. It's a concept that I learned in my NLP course, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. I think I talked about it a little bit before, but basically, NLP is really learning about how our language and our mind, our thinking, our thoughts, the way we speak about things, the way we speak about ourselves, how that affects our actions and really everything in our life. So, I just wanted to go over this concept because I think it's really important to know.
Yeah. Um, how's the week? We got some updates.
Yeah, so this is the first time we are back recording. Since we've gotten back from our wedding, our honeymoon, we pre-recorded our last few episodes.
It's like
So
6 episodes.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's been a
nice to
while.
be back to really be doing this. It's been like so long.
Yeah.
So we're married now.
Yep. We had the wedding. We had the honeymoon. It was
We just had them.
no, it was great. I couldn't have asked for a better wedding day. I really um I loved it. It was a very um happy happy day, happy memories, with our close friends and family. And yeah. And then the honeymoon was
Magical.
so relaxing. Oh man. We were laughing because I was like, I think a lot of people, like, we saw people at the resort. It was all inclusive. So like everybody's drinking, and Kate and I were just getting pineapple juice and ginger beer. And we were like, this is great. Like, people are probably waking up late. We were up early every day going to breakfast. Like, we really took it as a time to get back on track, get our schedule um, really in a better place because it was so hectic leading up to the wedding. So it was a very magical beach vacation. It was wonderful.
Yeah, our villa or cottage, whatever you want to call it, was right on the beach. We had our own private beach area plot basically. We had our own private plunge pool. We had service come to us every day to bring us drinks if we wanted. So I was just living on fresh pressed pineapple juice. And then
Mm,
the other day we bought some from the store. It was like
not the same.
organic, only one ingredient, just pineapple. And yeah, it's not the same, but it gave me a little bit of remembrance of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
um,
I'm also really sorry about the last few episodes that I was in. I was doing like a 36-hour fast before the wedding. And holy cow, I really just had no energy in any of those episodes.
That's okay.
So we are back as husband and wife. That's
Yeah.
great. So,
Changing my name soon and more to come on that.
yep.
Um, I just want to say quickly, yeah, our wedding was amazing. I'm so grateful for all of our friends and family who came and our bridesmaids and groomsmen and my aunt who was our officiant. It went so well. Our dogs got to come. So all of it was amazing. It is just like they say that it goes by fast. Like I was trying so hard to be very intentionally present the whole day.
Yeah.
We were both sober the whole day, which I feel like we both said we were really grateful
Mm,
because it allowed us to stay present and
yeah.
really remember the day. But also because our wedding ended early at 9 o'clock, it just went by that much
I
faster.
loved it.
I did too.
We were
Yeah.
back at the room before midnight. It was wonderful.
Yeah, we had a nice little after party afterwards with mostly just family. A couple friends came who were staying at the hotel. It was right in walking distance of the hotel, so that was really nice.
Yeah.
So we got to have that, which was fun. Dancing all night was a blast. Yeah.
It was a great time. It really was. And our photographer, shout out to Chris Stiles. He is just phenomenal. Really got some cool shots of us in the mansion. So
I mean, he gave us a small sneak peek, and I can't wait to see more.
yeah.
All of them.
If you're watching on YouTube, the light is probably in and out. So bear with us. We're getting there on the basement until we have our actual
Started.
studio. So
Yeah, we started working on that again, and I'm so excited to
yeah.
have an official space again. We picked out a couple colors to try out to paint for the walls. So
Yeah. I'm really excited to have that separate space again
Me
for
too.
our work.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. So, you're going to talk to us today about some NLP concepts. I have not really looked at this. I don't know much about what you're getting into, and I kind of want to keep it that way. So, I think it can be a good give and take of like you as learning about NLP, but also me having the frame of reference of the things you've taught me previously from your holistic life coaching.
Mhm. Yeah. So I want to talk about something that is called the learning circle, but it's really just like the process that we all go through when we learn new things as humans, when we are, taking on a new opportunity or learning new concepts, or maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's a job, maybe it's, something in entrepreneurship, maybe it's just something in your life, like becoming a parent. Um, and it's just like the cycle that we all go through. And I think it's really important to recognize that all of this is normal when we are learning new things. Because it's really hard to get caught in that cycle of thinking you've failed. And if we've talked a lot about how, failure is something that is really like a societal thing
Yeah.
that tries to make people be really scared, but there are always going to be ups and downs when you're learning anything new. So, the first part of the learning circle is the comfort zone. So, the comfort zone is like where you might be and you feel comfortable, like you're good in your routine, everything just feels pretty status quo. And it's like you don't really know that you want to shift and you're just maybe fearful of change, honestly. Because I think that as humans, we're always meant to be growing and learning and changing like throughout all of our life. So when you're in that comfort zone, it's kind of like, okay, I'm just here, I'm just coasting.
Hmm.
So then if you're going to kind of move out of that comfort zone, the next phase is really just having experiences, whether it's experiences that you're choosing to have, like you're choosing to go after something new, to learn something new, or maybe life is throwing an experience at you that you didn't necessarily prepare for, or maybe something you don't even want to go through, but just something is coming at you that is forcing you to look at like a change in your life.
I think that's an interesting distinction, right? There's always to you or for you.
Hmm.
Um, and not to say that, people choose for bad things to happen to themselves, but you have a choice in the life that you live. We had a choice when we became business owners and branched out on our own and did that. And the actions that followed were things that we created. They were things that happened for us as a result of the actions.
Hmm.
So I think that's important to keep in mind. Like, there's always that quote, you can build your dream or someone else's, something like that.
Hmm.
And I think there's a lot to be said for the actions that you take and how that translates to your experiences.
Yeah. But like you were saying, like something happening to you or for you, and that's really like the perspective piece of it is how you're viewing it. But the overall, what it is an experience. And
Yeah.
then you have thoughts and feelings about that experience. But what you're going through is some sort of experience that's trying to teach you to learn, to grow, to change and shift in your life in some way.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be something that we feel that is negative, but there's always some sort of lesson to be learned there.
Hmm.
And that's the next point is just to learn. So you can either choose to kind of embrace that you're going through something, that there's a lesson to be learned, or you can try to ignore the lesson. But, life has a funny way of like continuing to bring things around and forcing you to relearn the lesson, continue to go through the lesson until you've actually learned
Mm.
it.
That's a lot from higher consciousness circles and teachings like that. It's everything that happens to you or for you is a lesson. Everything you experience in life, and then you have people who keep having the same situations happen with different people, and the belief is you aren't learning the lesson. It keeps happening because you continue to be presented with an opportunity to learn the lesson.
Yeah. And that's the same thing like in neuro linguistic programming is that you're going to be continuously presented with this lesson in different ways. It's going to be a consistent thing until you actually learn the lesson. And that's what it leads you to the next step is when you actually grow, like when you actually feel growth from the experience, you've learned the lesson. And because you've learned a lesson, something shifts in you, something changes in you. So you actually experience some level of growth in who you are, like as a human.
Right.
So you might gain a new skill, you might gain a new perspective, a new way of living, whatever it is, like you've up leveled
Yeah.
basically in some way. And then the next is practice. So sometimes we think like, oh, I learned the lesson and here I am, like I've grown. But there's always more to do to continue to like develop that skill or bring about that new piece in your life to like continue to form whatever that is. So it doesn't just stop there. It's continuing to practice whatever that is. And then it's comes to making mistakes.
Mm.
Um, which sometimes is really hard to, you know, believe like that you've gotten this far, you've maybe learned something, you've been practicing something, but there's still always the possibility of like making different mistakes as you're going through it.
Well, I think, I'm a big proponent of the understanding that there's no such thing as mastery. When I was training mixed martial arts, my sensei was still there training every day, learning new things, going to his sensei.
Mhm.
And there's an understanding of like, no matter what skill level you have, there's no such thing as perfection. You still mess up, you still make mistakes. And I think societally, is that a word?
Mhm.
Societally?
Yeah, I
Sure.
think so.
We kind of like discourage that because we're afraid of, like if you make a mistake, oh, it was a mistake. You could be heading toward failure. But I think it's, even like in trading, right? Like we have a strategy and there's times where you make a mistake and it's not a good trade. But does that mean you're a bad trader? No. It comes with the territory. Like you can't have growth without also having mistakes along the way that are teaching you.
Mhm. Yeah, and, a lot of times mistakes will cause people to stop,
Mm,
because they take it on very personally, they feel negatively about themselves, they shame themselves or judge themselves, and this is the important point where you decide to keep going, keep moving towards whatever it is, keep learning, and this is the next point is to reflect. Like, reflect on your mistakes, question what went wrong, and don't feel shame for it.
yeah, and I've been reading the book "Outwitting the Devil" by Napoleon Hill, and it's a fascinating read. But he talks about the premise of the book is basically the guy's interviewing the devil, and the devil is confessing to him all the ways that he controls man.
Mm,
And in the book, one of the conversations is about when we fail. He says, "Isn't failure a bad thing?" And the devil says, "No, it's only a bad thing when someone accepts it as absolute. If they accept failure and think, 'Oh, I have failed,' you're done. But
mhm,
the people who see extraordinary success are the people who have those failures, can learn from them, but they don't accept them as their final destination. They still have that enthusiasm to learn, to go through that process. And I think that that's what's so crucial is because we make mistakes, yes, but do you learn from your mistakes? Are your mistakes allowing you to grow, or are you someone who accepts a mistake and says, "Oh, I failed and I got to go do something else now"?
mhm. Yeah, so that's really that reflection point again, and then the next step is learning and growing again, because it is like that's why it's kinda called a circle because you have another lesson to learn. You have another point that's asking you to reflect again and grow in a different way, and it's continuing to, you know, grow that skill or change something about your life even further, like asking you to go deeper into whatever that is for you. So, um,
Hmm. I like that because, sorry, I keep going back to trading, but I took my mentor's model, right? And in trying to apply it, looked at situations of like when I did take a loss, it was okay, why? why did I take a loss? What went wrong? What did I miss? If I didn't miss it, I was learning and finding a flaw in the strategy. The whole time I've been doing this, I've been making the strategy my own and writing new rules to make it more successful. Then there's more learning, and it's that cycle. So I was learning in the failure, but then I was writing rules to, you know, figure out how I can increase my probability of success and learning how it impacted those different situations. So it's interesting. I never really thought about it that way. You're
Yeah.
like learning in two ways.
And then the next point is to practice again.
There you go. I'm getting ahead of
So
you.
you're gonna continuing to practice. Like you don't just necessarily learn one like something once, you know?
Right.
And that's kind of the point of this whole circle, like laying it out this way.
Hmm.
And then the next point is make less mistakes. So you can still very much make mistakes, but maybe you're making less, or maybe there are mistakes that you anticipate a little bit more and you know how to work through them a little bit easier. But again, like you're not going to just learn one thing one time and be like, okay, I'm never going to make a mistake again.
Right. And again, the master makes mistakes too.
Yeah. And then it goes a little bit further. So we've kind of repeated things, and then it goes to like being competent. So really feeling like you have some competency in this new skill that you've learned or this new way of life, whatever it is, being good and feeling good about what you do. Again, that doesn't mean you're perfect, but you feel a level of confidence in it.
Yeah. And I mean, even if we equate that to like you and I in our health journey, we went through a lot of this stuff, found our naturopaths, trial and error with tons of vitamins and things, to where even recently we had someone ask me like, "Hey, what are three vitamins you couldn't live without?"
Hmm.
Um and there's, the competency there and the confidence to be able to say like, "Yeah, I've been through this. I have a fluid understanding and enough knowledge to tell him also like, everybody's different, but here's what worked for me."
Hmm.
And I think it's just like anything, you need the repetitions.
Yeah. So the competency like really builds that confidence. It's that time,
Mm,
it's
that's the
that
next step.
time and experience and practice. What is? No, confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah, I think they go together.
Yeah.
It's like you are competent, so you feel confidence because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Agreed.
the last step actually is the same as the first step. It's the comfort zone. When you have that competence and confidence, I think I just
All
said that
these C
correct.
words.
um, your comfort zone kind of expands. You feel more comfortable in doing this thing. That's not to say that you're not going to grow or learn or make any more mistakes, but you have a more of a comfort zone. It's more natural to you at this point because you've
Yeah.
gone through a lot to get to where you are and you've gotten to a point where you're more comfortable.
Mm. It makes me think of like with music. I had, it was like 4 years until I even understood like what the process looked like to make a song from start to finish. And now, not that I've done it so many times, but I have an understanding now, and I think, yeah, my comfort zone has kind of increased to that level,
Mhm.
and kind of risen to that point where, like, I did have a song where I was playing with, different samples, and I made a whole song in an afternoon. I never put it out, but, but like I've gotten the reps in. I've learned. I've made mistakes there. I've practiced. I've done so much to be at a point now where I have that competence, and as a result, the confidence to do that, to where that is where my comfort zone is now. I could just sit down and make a song in an afternoon.
Yeah. And so, when you're kind of in this comfort zone, maybe you're going to relax there, chill out for a little while, and then the cycle kind of starts again where another experience could come your way, whether it's something you're choosing, something that's kind of just being thrown at you in some way. And that's really like the cycle of learning and continuing to like expand and grow.
Yeah, I love that. I think that it goes with a lot of the things that you've taught me before, but I think that it kind of gives a more all encompassing, a holistic approach, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, I like that because it really kind of communicates the cyclical nature of it, where you do kind of come back to the start, you reach a new level of comfort with something, and then it's, do you go through that process again to kind of push your comfort zone and grow further?
Yeah, and it's a good reminder that, like, you can make mistakes, think you've gotten past them, you can still make more mistakes. That doesn't, like, negate the progress that you've already made,
Yeah,
but it's just more for you to learn and, like, more for you to grow, so,
beautiful.
yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.